The situation in the Middle East has gone from bad to worse following Donald Trump's invasion of Iran. We just learned that a fourth U.S. service member has been pronounced dead. The amount of seriously wounded U.S. service members has climbed to 18. Also, in response to all of the very serious and deeply troubling news coming out of Iran and the Middle East, Donald Trump has issued the following statement to the American people. He said this to the New York Post moments ago, quote, "I don't have the yips with respect to the boots on the ground. Like every president says, there will be no boots on the ground. I don't say it. I say probably don't need them, or if they were necessary, because I don't have the yips. I don't have the yips." Statement from Donald Trump right there. War is spreading throughout the entire Middle East. Iran is not relenting. There was a disastrous press conference held this morning by Donald Trump's Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Dan Caine. They talked about a war that could last a very long period of time, weeks, potentially months. Also, Donald Trump's been calling into reporters and saying that he is not ruling out boots on the ground. The specific quote from Donald Trump is, "We are going to be escalating this even more soon. It's going to get even less safe. We haven't even hit them," referring to Iran, hard yet, Donald Trump says. He's also been making a number of other kind of deranged quotes about how he's not ruling out. He said other presidents, they're afraid of putting boots on the ground. I'm not afraid of putting boots on the ground. I'm going to do whatever it is that I'm going to do. We also learned that there were 3 F-15s that were struck by Kuwait in a friendly fire incident. U.S. Air Force fighter jets were mistakenly shot down by Kuwaiti air defenses. Fortunately, all of the individuals on board those airplanes were safe and they did not die. They all were able to eject, but a major friendly fire incident over there in Kuwait. I want to go through what else is going on. Let's just take this piece by piece of what we are learning this morning. CENTCOM posted the following update. As of 7:30 a.m., March 2nd, 4 U.S. service members have been killed in action. The 4th service member, who was seriously wounded during Iran's initial attack, eventually succumbed to their injuries. 18 American service members seriously wounded so far during this operation, the U.S. military's ongoing strike campaign against Iran. According to a spokesperson from U.S. Central Command, Iranian forces also hit a U.S. flagged tanker, the Stena Imperative, in the port of Bahrain today, setting the vessel on fire. And while all of this was going on, Donald Trump says it's going to get less safe. We haven't started to hit them hard yet. The big wave hasn't even happened yet. The big one is coming soon. Then Donald Trump called up CNN and told Jake Tapper the following as well. Let's just play this clip.
To that. And President Trump, I'm just hearing in my ear, just told my colleague Jake Tapper that the big wave is yet to come. So clearly things are going to be escalating, not de-escalating in the future.
Well, I think the imminent threat goes back to nuclear weapons.
The assessment was it could take 10 years.
Oh,
10 years for an ICBM.
We know they have.
But Trump said it was obliterated. The nuclear weapons were obliterated. So
we know they have stockpiles of nuclear material.
We can see the satellite imagery right here, dated Sunday, March 1st, obtained by Planet Labs and Airbus Defense and Space. Hat tip to the fine folks at OSINT Defender who have done a good job at least compiling all this stuff. And analyzed by the New York Times, you can see extensive damage that's been done to the U.S. Naval Support Activity Base in Bahrain, the headquarters of the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet right there. Look at the before. Look at the after right here. Also, according to ABC, all U.S. military bases are now under Threat Condition Bravo, which is basically one of the highest level threats of terroristic activity there. Ali Laranjani, who is one of the top military officials in Iran, runs their national security, their version of their National Security Council, has put out the following statement this morning. Iran, unlike the United States, has prepared itself for a long war. And here's the the statement that was put out by the Islamic regime. As in the past 300 years, Iran did not start this war, and our brave armed forces have not engaged in any tactics except in defense. We will fiercely defend ourselves and our 6,000-year-old civilization, regardless of the cost, and will make the enemies sorry for their miscalculations. He then posted, Trump has betrayed America first to adopt Israel first, and then posted, Trump's wishful thinking has dragged the whole region into an unnecessary war, and now he is rightly worried about more American casualties. It is indeed very sad that he is sacrificing American treasure and blood to advance Netanyahu's illegitimate expansionist ambitions. He also posts, we will not negotiate with the United States. So folks, it doesn't seem like Iran is going to be relenting or going to be surrendering or going to be even negotiating with Donald Trump at this point. At the same time, we know that the Kremlin, Donald Trump's buddy, Vladimir Putin, says that Russia is in continuous contact with Iran's leadership over what Moscow calls outright aggression against Tehran, and has expressed deep disappointment in how events unfolded. So as Donald Trump continues to be a Putin bootlicker, you have Putin and China also siding here with Iran, as we knew they would. Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense, held a unhinged press conference this morning with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Dan Caine, and he just started doing Clint Eastwood quotes. It was very bizarre, this press conference. Let me show you what went down. When he was asked, so is this war going to take, 4 weeks, 6 weeks? How long is it going to take, Pete Hegseth? He then attacks NBC and says that's a typical NBC gotcha question. If it's 4 weeks, 6 weeks, it could move up. Just stop asking these questions. Here, play this clip.
Ability that we have over there.
I heard the question about 4 weeks. It's the typical NBC sort of gotcha type question. President Trump has all the latitude in the world to talk about how long it may or may not take. 4 weeks, 2 weeks, 6 weeks. It could move up. It could move back. We're going to execute at his command the objectives we've set out to achieve. And what he has shown an ability to do that other presidents can't quite seem to have the aperture to do, well, I mean, Joe Biden didn't even know what he was doing, is to look for opportunities and off-ramps and escalations for the United States that creates new opportunities to execute what we need on our own timeline. So you can play games about 4 weeks, 5 weeks. He has all the latitude, and I'm glad he does, because there's no better communicator than our president expressing those things.
Daily Mail.
I've been in meetings with the president for the last 2.5 days. We know exactly where his headspace is, and he will communicate as he should exactly what he would like, and we will follow those orders. And I think everything he said on that is right down the middle.
Chairman, did you
Absolutely.
have
Yes, right there. Yes, sir.
Then Hegseth starts to do these bizarre one-liners where he's like, this is not so-called regime change, but this is changing the regime. Here, play this clip.
Iran was building powerful missiles and drones to create a conventional shield for their nuclear blackmail ambitions. Let me say that again. A conventional shield for their nuclear blackmail ambitions. Our bases, our people, our allies, all in their crosshairs. Iran had a conventional gun to our head as they tried to lie their way to a nuclear bomb. It almost worked under Obama and his terrible deal, but not under this president. Turns out the regime who chanted death to America and death to Israel was gifted death from America and death from Israel. This is not a so-called regime change war, but the regime sure did change, and the world is better off for it.
You know what's easier than fixing a problem? Not having the problem in the first place. Your liver is one of those organs that you don't think about until you have to. Supporting it daily is one of those small things that can make a huge difference in how you feel overall, and that's where Dose comes in. Dose for your liver is a clinically backed liver health supplement. This isn't just another capsule or powder. Dose is a liquid supplement. It's taken in a daily 2-ounce shot, and it tastes like fresh squeezed orange juice. Here's why it matters. Your liver is your body's filter. It processes everything you consume and handles over 500 plus daily functions. Energy production, digestion, fat metabolism, vitamin storage. When your liver is overworked, you feel it. Dose helps cleanse the liver of unwanted stressors that may be slowing your liver down and it promotes daily liver function so that your liver can do its job. 0 sugar, 0 junk, 0 calories. And when you take Dose Daily, you're going to reduce sluggishness, get rid of those midday crashes, support your metabolism, and even aid your daily digestion. Plus, this is the real deal. There are 2 double-blind placebo-controlled studies showing Dose's positive impact on liver enzyme levels. Are you ready to give your liver the support it deserves? Head to dosedaily.co/Meidas or enter Meidas to get 35% off your first subscription. Your body does so much for you. Let's do something for it. That's dosedaily.co/Meidas, MEIDAS, for 35% off your first month subscription.
As we wrote on the MeidasTouch account, it would be nice if we had a Secretary of Defense who knew what he was doing and not just regurgitating quotes from action movies. More from Hegseth right here, where he's asked by reporters, what do you mean by you want our troops to pray, or what do you want them to pray for? What's in your prayer for them? What are you talking about right now? Rather than giving us a strategy, you want prayer? That's what you're saying that we should do? We shouldn't ask questions as the American people. It's just prayer. And he's like, yeah, it should just be the biblical prayer. That's what my family does, the biblical prayer. You know, all of these warmongers, all of these fascists, they hide behind the Bible. They hide behind God when they don't want to answer actual questions. It's utterly despicable. Play this clip.
As the military objectives.
Last one right here.
Uranium is. Thank you, sir. As you've said, there are a large amount of U.S. service members that are in harm's way right now. What is your prayer for them?
First of all, my prayer for them is that I do pray for them. My wife prays for them. Our family prays for them. Our cabinet prays for them. None of this is done on a whim. Having been in their boots, having been in their shoes, having been in their flight suits, I know we think about them with every decision that we make and every recommendation that we make to the President of the United States. Those recommendations are made prayerfully. And when I pray every day for them and for this mission, I pray simply for the biblical wisdom to see what is right and the courage to do it. It's going to take courage to follow through on this. There's going to be a lot of noise, and we pray for that, and we hope all of you do as well. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Then the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Dan Caine, spoke, and he said, we should expect a lot more losses of life. This mission's going to take a very long time. This is a major operation. Major combat operations take a long time. We're in a war. Here, play this clip.
The military objectives that CENTCOM and the Joint Force have been tasked with will take some time to achieve, and in some cases will be difficult and gritty work. We expect to take additional losses, and as always, we will work to minimize U.S. losses. But as the Secretary said, this is major combat operations.
So then a reporter asks Hegseth, are you concerned about this war spiraling into a longer war? Play this clip.
They should.
Secretary Hegseth, and one for Chairman Caine as well. I understand, to your point here, that you don't want to broadcast everything for our adversaries to hear, but the American people also want to know what they're sending their men and women to war for. Is there a concern of this spiraling into a longer war? And then one for the chairman when you're done.
Did you not hear my remarks? I mean, we're ensuring the mission gets accomplished, but we are very clear-eyed, as the president has been, unlike other presidents, about the foolish policies of the past that recklessly pulled us in to things that were not tethered to actual clear objectives. So we know. We have plans, we have generals, we have chairmen, we have commanders, CENTCOM commanders, Admiral Cooper, who's executing very deliberately to ensure outcomes that I laid out are accomplished. But we would never, in front of a press pool, lay out how long that may take. The mission for our warfighters, which is what matters to us, is very, very clear. And they're executing it right now violently.
And then he says that rules of engagement are stupid. He says rules of engagement are stupid. Let's play this clip.
With maximum authorities. No stupid rules of engagement, no nation-building quagmire, no democracy-building exercise, no politically correct wars. We fight to win, and we don't waste time or lives. As the president warned, an effort of this scope will include casualties. War is hell. and always will be. A grateful nation honors the 4 Americans we have lost thus far and those injured. The absolute best of America.
Donald Trump just issued the following statement to New York Post. Donald Trump says, quote, "I don't have the yips with respect to boots on the ground. Like every president says, there will be no boots on the ground. I don't say it. I probably don't need them, or if they were necessary. I don't have the yips, not the yips," Donald Trump says. That's his current message to the American people. He doesn't have the yips. Then Donald Trump said that he really liked that press conference of Pete Hegseth and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Dan Caine. He says that's right out of the central casting of a Hollywood movie. And he said that that's what he likes, that it's out of central casting. It's a direct quote from Donald Trump. Here, play this clip.
The military operation, he said there is no greater military in the U.S. And he was praising General Caine, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, for the news conference that he just watched. Cut and dry, as he said, central casting, and they have a job to do, and they're getting it done.
More Donald Trump communicating here with state regime media known as Fox. Donald Trump is saying that we need to follow what we did in Venezuela and do that in Iran. Just use the template, find somebody in the Islamic Republic who wants to take over, and then become their allies. So that's the plan right now. Okay, here, play this clip.
He said there is a plan. He points to Venezuela as a template, which means to me that going in, they had some sense on the ground of what was coming next.
Then they're bringing on all their sycophants in the MAGA movement, like Markwayne Mullin, MAGA Republican senator from Oklahoma. And here he says, it's up to the Iraqi people. The Iraqi people will make their decision. You mean the Iranian people? Okay, it's up to the Iraqi people. They literally conflate Iraq and Iran because this is what they're doing. Here, play this clip.
But it's up to the Iraqi people, or I'm sorry, the Iranian people to choose their next leader. It's up to them to rise up and kick this regime out of place. If they do not, then they will be with a different leader, but the same regime. If they choose to get a different leader that we can have a relationship with, which we would love to. Prior to 1979, we had a good relationship with Iran. But if they choose to pick up a leader, Stuart, we will surround that leader, not necessarily with boots on the ground, but with assets to make sure that that leader can be protected, rise up, and then the Iranian people will have the opportunity to choose their next leadership.
That's what we.
In contrast, here's what Democratic Congress member and Army Ranger Jason Crow had to say. Play this clip.
Right, and how this goes is elites and leaders in Washington talk tough and bang the war drums, and then what happens is working class kids like me and the people that I fought with in Iraq and Afghanistan actually have to get into planes and helicopters and pick up rifles and do it. Right. So I've had it with that cycle, that endless cycle of non-accountability. I mean, look, Friday night, Donald Trump filmed this tough video where he talked about war and the costs of war and how hard it's going to be and how we're going to lose troops. Then he literally went behind the curtain and hosted $1 million a plate dinner dance party at Mar-a-Lago. That tells you everything you need to know.
In other international news, Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has barred the U.S. from using bases there to strike Iran. French President Emmanuel Macron announced a direct boost in France's nuclear arsenal moments ago, announcing the country will stop revealing the size of its stockpile, but will be greatly increasing its stockpile of nuclear weapons. As Erin Bonko explains, what a remarkable turn in messaging. We went from hearing from Trump and senior officials and lawmakers in recent days that they want freedom for the Iranian people, signaling a push for regime change, to hearing from the Pentagon that this campaign is actually not about that at all. And as Greg Kallstrom says, Trump is basically calling up every journalist in his phone to workshop different timelines and goals for his war. In the past 2 days, Washington Post, the aim is freedom for the people of Iran. Axios, maybe we can end it in 2 or 3 days. New York Times, Might be 4 to 5 weeks. I have 3 very good choices who might take control. ABC, actually, never mind. We killed those choices. He doesn't sound convinced by any of it. He's throwing spaghetti at the wall. Ultimately, I suspect he just wants to say he solved the problem that has vexed every American president. There's no clear idea what that looks like. No plan how to get there. Probably what's going to happen is Trump declares victory and just leaves the region an absolute mess. I'm not sure that's even possible at this point, as we're seeing just this massive, massive retaliation by Iran. I mean, massive strikes, don't get me wrong, by the United States and Israel in Iran, but Iran is striking its neighbors and inflicting a lot of pain as well. And the entire region's becoming engulfed. Russia's being drawn in, China's potentially being drawn in, and the entire world right now in some way or another is involved in this war. That's what we got for now. We'll keep you posted throughout the day. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers, and thanks for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.